And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Cinderella said, Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Cinderella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed, Hinder's Doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. Andrew's Doers. Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella 2, Wishes Come True. It's this. It is based on Cinderella 2, Dreams Come True. Once upon two times, Cinderella and Prince Singling were happily married. 6 months later, they are pregnant, but Cinderella is sick, so the baby might die. Cinderella's fairy godmother knows a spell that can cure her. She chants the magic words, "Winnerly, wannerly, one," and waves her magic wand, and the baby is cured. And the baby is a boy named Oliver. Olive, Nina, and Esme have a few tricks up their sleeves, though. They are complaining about not marrying Prince Singling. Another 6 months later, Oliver is almost 6 months old. And he can't wait to have his royal birthday party, and it's tomorrow. The next day is Oliver's royal birthday party. Cinderella asks, what about our gift, father-in-law? Oliver has now a magical necklace previously owned by the King of Onlyville when he was a baby. He needs to make a wish, rub the jewel on it, and the wish will come true. The King of Onlyville's imaginary wakes him up now. Sees that Olive, Nina, and Esme are breaking into the party. He says, "Oh no, they're trouble! Oh, big trouble!" He then goes over to the king and tells him, "Your Majesty, your son and daughter-in-law are in trouble." The King of Onlyville gets so infuriated, he yells, "Sound the alarm!" The King of Onlyville blows a trumpet that the king's guards hear an attack. Olive, Nina, and Esme attempt to escape. Oliver said, and I wish Olive, Nina, and Esme are trapped, rubs the jewel on it. Olive, Nina, and Esme are now trapped in the castle's dungeon. And so, the birthday party is saved. And he, alongside his parents, lives happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doors, I hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 55erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there lived a young woman named 55erella. 55erella had 10 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Fatina, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella. May 55erella do all the chores. 55er wench! Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all! Said Fatima. Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yvonne, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella all together. One day, the king of 55 Ham's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 55 Ham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Quadra-Tumbling." But 55 is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. "He's going to marry me," said Fatima, the oldest stepsister. Ivana said, "No way, Fatima. He's going to marry me." The rest said, "No, he's going to marry me." Later, 55 is so sad, distraught, and upset doing chores about not going to the ball and marry Prince Quadra-Tumbling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 55 by saying, There now, my dear sweet 55 I can help with a bit of magic," and waves her magic wand. And because of that, 55 chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 55 go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 55 has 55 pumpkins and 110 mice. 55's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 55 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 110 mice into horses, and 55's fairy clothes into a gown and crown. 55 says, "I've never seen such a quinquagintabletastic gown. Get a load of my glass slippers. Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough?" 55's fairy godmother says, "Well, you can't. But have fun, 55 but I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken and everything will change back to the way it was before, back to normal," and gives her a clock to tell her what time it is. 55 accepted the warning and climbed into the coach. Meanwhile, at the ball, the king of 55 Ham says, "Good evening, everyone. And my son, Prince Quadra-Tumbling, was wondering who he owed to marry." "Isn't that right, son?" In which Prince Quadra-Tumbling responds, "Yes, father." Suddenly, 55 arrives just in time for the ball. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, "He's walking towards me!" all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. Prince Quadra-Tumbling is walking towards 55 "May I have this dance?" asks Prince Quadra-Tumbling, in which 55 responds, "I would be delighted." Prince Quadra-Tumbling and 55 dance happily together. But later, as 55 checks her clock, it's almost midnight, and so she scurried out of the ball. And she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Quadra-Tumbling is really sad and worried that he might never see 55 again. The king of 55 comforts him by saying, There now, son. I think we'll be able to find her." And so, the king of 55 Ham and Prince Quadra-Tumbling began their journey all around 55 Ham to find 55 and brought the glass slipper with them. By the time they arrive, they knock. Prince Quadra-Tumbling knocks on the door of the house where 55 and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters live. But instead of 55 they find her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters. Prince Quadra-Tumbling then says, "Ladies, My father and I have a favor to ask. Can you try on this glass slipper? Fatima is first, but her foot is too big. Ivana is next, but her foot is too small. Nonsense! It fits, she said. The rest are the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Quinkle toppling, and the king of 55ingham noticed 55 singing. Prince Quinkle tumbling, is that you? She hollered excitedly. Prince Quinkle tumbling says, of course it's me. My father and I found you. I love you. Will you marry me? And the glass slipper fits. And so, 55 the king of 55ingham, and Prince Quinkle tumbling lived happily ever after. The end. And I bet it was a fun story, right, Andrew Stewart? I've been debating on making some sequels. So, if you want to see maybe someday 55 2, 55 wishes come true, tell your friends about it, okay? And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And have you found your prince or princess? Just let me know. And maybe my Cinderella parodies will come true and become real. Take care, Andrew Stewart. Bye. And now, Andrew Stewart, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 55 2, 55 Wishes Come True. A sequel to 55 based on the story of Cinderella, with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon two times, 55 and Prince Quinkle toppling were happily married. But Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella are extremely jealous about it. Have lots of tricks up their sleeves. They can do anything to stop them. No fair! I thought Prince Quinkle toppling was gonna marry me, exclaimed Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella all together. A year later, 55 and Prince Quinkle toppling are pregnant, but gravely ill. Luckily, 55's fairy godmother knows a spell that can cure her. And not a minute too soon, 55 is cured, and so is the baby, who is a young girl named Queenie. Meanwhile, Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella find a strange magical medallion that grants 55 wishes. This gives them an idea to use it to cause chaos. The first wish is to witch Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Yadina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella say, we wish to be super strong, and the medallion grants their wish, so they have 54 wishes left. Not so fast! Shouts 55's fairy godmother. But before she could cast a spell, Fatima, the oldest stepsister, punches her into the air, causing her magic wand to fall out, hit the ground, and go haywire. 55 tries to save her fairy godmother by facing her magic wand, but magically turns into a frog. Luckily, the king of 55ingham explains that there's only one way to fix 55's fairy godmother's magic wand. is to talk to the old wand maker. But before he can finish, Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Irina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella lock him up and then steal 55-year-old fairy godmother's magic wand. Whatever will we do? Whimpers 55-year-old, who is now a frog. Her daughter, Queenie, knows what to do. She grabs the medallion from Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Irina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella, and says, I wish everything was back to the way it was before. And then, I also wish Mommy's fairy godmother's magic wand is fixed, and not a minute too soon. Everything is back to the way it was supposed to be. And 55-year-old's fairy godmother wand is now fixed. What should we do now? Asks Prince Quinquagin. Queenie suggests turning Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Irina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella into stone so that they can't cause any more trouble. And so they agree. 55-year-old's fairy godmother then chants the magic word. Fippity foopity ice cream cone, magic wand, turn them into stone, and waves her magic wand, which is now fixed and not a minute too soon. Fatima, Ivana, Fernanda, Tasha, Irina, Fiona, Isabella, Verona, and Ella are now stone statues so that they can't cause any more trouble. And the king of 55 AM says, my granddaughter, Queenie, well done. If you save the day 5 times in a row, I'll make you a hero. And they, along with 55-year-old and Prince Quinquagin, live happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like it, share, and introduce everything. And buy our merchandise at introduceeverything.com. Take care. Bye.